If you're considering moving to Australia, you're probably wondering which visa is right for me. With so many options out there, it can be tough figuring out what your options are and where to start. But don't worry, today I'm going to walk you through the different popular visas considered for each of the categories that you may be considering, and the types of different ways that you can migrate to Australia, which will help you decide what visa fits your situation best. So let's start with skilled migration. People that are looking to come into Australia permanently through the government invitation program. So this can be the federal government invitation or the state government invitation, or the state government invitation specifically for a regional area within that state that invites you. So these are perfect for people who have qualifications and possibly work experience, which will help you get that invitation. There's a bunch of other criteria, and depending on how competitive you are, that you may be invited. So the main options here are the subclass 189, 190, and the 491. 189 is the federal invitation program, 190 is the state invitation program, both permanent visas, and 491 is the regional invitation program for the state, but it's a provisional or a temporary visa. You still get access to some really good benefits like Medicare, but you have to live and work in a regional area for 3 years before you can transition to the subclass 191, which is then the permanent stage of the 491 visa. So if you're an engineer, IT professional, healthcare worker, community workers of any kind, pretty much everything is in demand, especially in Australia. So depending on what your interests are and what you want to do in Australia in terms of living here permanently, you can decide your options, and depends on how competitive you are. So do you consider the 491 as a visa option or not, right? So it's a great option if you've got the right skills and or work experience along with your qualification. Not necessary that you need to have work experience, but you do need to have a positive skills assessment for your occupation. Now, let's talk about family and partner visas. So this can be various visas along with parent visas or partner visas or child visas. The main ones that are utilized are the subclass 820 and the 801, which is the onshore partner visa that you apply for while in Australia. The subclass 309 leading to the subclass 100, which is the offshore partner visa that you apply for from outside Australia. But at the time of decision, you can actually be anywhere as of recent changes last year. So the other one is the subclass 103, which is really popular for parent visas. And there's also a temporary parent visa options for up to 3 or 5 years to bring your parents into Australia temporarily, even if you don't meet the balance of family test, right? So that allows parents to join their children in Australia. If you have any loved ones in Australia and you want to be together, these visas are the way to go. Now, if you're coming to Australia, you might be wanting to study, so you'll need a student visa if you do want to study a certain course. The institution that you enroll in will have to be CRICOS accredited, so you'll have to then apply after you get your COE for a subclass 500 visa. And it allows you to study from an Australian education institution, plus you can work part-time during your studies to help you support yourself. So if you're planning to get a degree or take a short course in Australia, this is the visa that you'll need. Anything longer than 3 months, generally you will need a student visa. Now, if you're just visiting Australia for traveling, holiday, business trip, or to see family, then visitor visa is the one for you. There's different types of visitor visas, which we've covered in a separate video, but the main one that's utilized is the subclass 600, the tourist visa. And this visa allows you to go to Australia and stay there for different periods depending on how long it's granted for. It can usually be granted for up to 12 months. And if you have parents that you want to invite as a permanent resident or citizen, it can even be granted for up to 3 years. Now, there's different conditions that'll be applicable depending on the type of tourist visa, where you're coming from. There's mandatory conditions and then some conditions that may be imposed by the officer depending on his judgment, right? So those are the things to look out for. It's perfect for those who just want to explore Australia or attend a short-term event as well. Next up, if you're looking to work in Australia and you have an employer willing to sponsor you, then the employer-sponsored visas are the options to go for. Now, the main options utilized here is the temporary visa subclass 482 and the subclass 186. You can either go directly for the 186, or you can transition from the 482 to the 186 after meeting the requirement of 2 years of work on the 482. Now, these visas are designed to fill labor shortages and skill gaps in the local market. So by retaining the talent, Australia allows the opportunity for companies to keep them here, right? So this is if you've been offered a job and meet the rest of the criteria along with having an employment contract and a company that's able to sponsor you. These are fantastic ways if you already have that opportunity available. Now, the other main option for this is the subclass 494, which is also an employer-sponsored visa, but specifically for regional areas. Now, you can be sponsored by a company in a regional area. They'll need to have an office, physical office located there. You need to live and work in a regional area, then to transition to the 191, which is after 3 years of employment. So very similar to the 491, the 494, both regional visas. One is state invitation for a regional program, and the other one is employer-sponsored in a regional area. Both of them allow you to transition to the 191. Now, if you're really renowned in your field, you might want to consider the new visa, which used to be called the Global Talent Visa, and now called the National Innovation Visa. This is the subclass 858, aimed at individuals who are really well renowned in their field. You know, you might have a patent under your name, you are a superstar in the field that you work in, you know, you've got a history of having been backed by a number of companies, you've done fundraising rounds where people really trust you and you're really good at what you do, and you can then bring your expertise into Australia. That's what this is really aiming for at a very high level. Now, if you've got the right business experience and/or the skills and talent, then you can be invited through the minister themselves to apply for this visa. And finally, the most famous one that most people know about, depending on which country you're from, you may be eligible for the work and holiday or the working holiday visa, which is the subclass 462 and the subclass 417. This is usually for anyone between the ages of 18 and 30. And again, depending on which country you're from, there might be concessions for up till 35 years of age for you to be able to apply. Now, this is a great choice if you want to experience Australia for what it is, still travel, work, have that whole leniency for a year. But if you want to apply for your second working holiday visa, you must ensure that you meet the criteria, one of the main ones being 3 months of work in a specified location and a specified type of work in that location. So if you do meet that 3 months, then you can apply for your second working holiday visa. You may even be eligible for your third working holiday visa, but to get the third, you need to do 6 months of specified work on your second working holiday visa. You can work pretty much other than that in any job you like, from hospitality to agriculture, and travel around the country whenever you like as well. You could even travel the entire time and just do 3 months of the specified work to renew your working holiday visa for the second time. So there you have it. These are the most common visas for migrating to Australia. Whether you want to work, study, reunite with family, or just explore the country, there's a visa for you. Make sure to check the eligibility criteria for each of these visas or book in a consultation with a professional to help guide you on what the best pathway might be. So, if you have any questions regarding this, you can comment below and we'll try and get back to you or create another video to answer your questions.